Hello again, all you wonderful people. Today we have Chapter 10, a really fun map, but also a really complex, frustrating, and hard cookie to crack. So hopefully together we'll figure it out. Immediately, you'll notice this chapter's biggest issue, the introduction of Ballista. As I previously mentioned, you do not fuck around with Ballista in 776. They are frighteningly accurate and extremely powerful. And to complicate matters further, most are put in well-defended locations to pelt you to death from. Anyway, aside from the normal enemies, there are also two houses with some useful loot, threatened by a pair of thieves that will attempt to plunder them, and a surprise pair of reinforcements that are actually units you will recruit later. But thankfully, aside from those two, there are no true reinforcements to deal with here. So let's get started. You can bring a ton of units for this map, so the only ones I will expressly recommend are Karen, as her flying can help in taking out Ballista or visiting houses, and a thief to steal some useful items. Right away, your starting bridge is blocked by a sword armor on a fort. This enemy is holding a fire sword that you definitely want. Steal it, capture it, just get it by any means. Meanwhile, send some forces up north to deal with the Ballista by the shops, while you begin to move your forces across the bridge. If you have Karen with you, then put her at the edge of the Ballista range down south in preparation to snag the house on the bottom. By the way, after each enemy phase, make sure you tend to your injured forces, as you never know when a stray Ballista bolt will spell their end. Also to be aware of in the enemy phase is an extremely out-of-place Dragon Knight that will rush you right away. He's not as tough as the previous chapters, but he does have a movement star that has caused me to prematurely reset more than once. On your phase, keep moving your troops forward and have Karen go to the southern house to grab a magic up staff, which you may know as the ward staff in other games. But since there's no resistance, the M up staff boosts magic by 7. Very useful to have. Afterwards, retreat her as far back as you can and dismount her so she isn't instigated by the Ballista, and then move her out next turn. Of course, if you gave her the leg ring like I did in this run, you don't need to do that. Anyway, either on turn 4 or when anyone crosses this here red line, Olwen and Fred will appear by the enemy fort and advance on your position before beginning to retreat on turn 6. But as long as you either take care of the thief by the second Ballista or rescue the northern house, you can just hang back and let them run out the clock, leaving without ever engaging them. By the way, the northern house contains a super useful rescue staff that I actually forgot to get in this run. No! Just like the warp staff, it can target any ally from across the entire map, and combos of warping and rescuing are very effective. As for the thief, he has a rapier and an S-drink, so capture or steal them. When it comes to advancing on the enemy fort, there are two paths to take, similar to the choices of the previous chapter. You can go straight ahead and smash through the enemy lines, which is quick, clean, and efficient, at the cost of being very dangerous, or you can slip around the bottom route after opening the bridge and attack the fort from the bottom, skipping most of the enemies and Ballista, at the cost of taking much longer.
The choices are yours, and yours alone!
I took the direct route here, primarily because I had thieves with enough build to snag Fred and Olwen's stuff, and going south means you'll probably never engage them. I especially wanted Fred's Thunder Sword because you can never have enough magic blades. By the way, don't worry about killing either of them by accident, as they have plot armor for this chapter. Anyway, as you tread along, make taking out the Ballista your primary concern, because deadly, and eventually you'll come to a group of 4 cavaliers by the fort, 2 of whom have an Armor Slayer and Night Killer respectively. So keep alert to that. And if the thief on the left of the map hasn't fled yet, then either steal or capture his lockpick and S-drink. The bishop at the top left of the map should also be dealt with. He only has a bolting for a weapon, so any capturing unit doesn't have to fight him. But rush him quickly, as you do have characters that can wield bolting, and there are many opportunities to make siege magic very helpful in this game. Eventually, you will have to take out the boss, and he's a tough nut to break with anything besides magic. But before you do anything, make sure to steal his Knight's Proof. If you don't have any magic users available, then your best strategy is to bait the boss into using his bow, and then continuously pelt him with hammers and armor slayers until he falls. And fall he must in order to capture the throne and end the chapter. By the way, if you're into that sort of thing, the arena here is the last one you will encounter for 6 chapters, and the next one is on a level with a time limit. So if you want to pull some levels, this is your last opportunity for quite a while. Just remember that going to the arena does increase fatigue. But with that out of the way, next time you get sprung into a trap. In America. See you then.